Wednesday. W-I-N-sday.
Cool. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Win the day.
Wins the day.
Win the day Wednesday.
Wins.
Right.
So you got a flat tire over there or what?
Had
a flat tire.
I had a flat tire.
Well, Blaine.
Had strep and no credit card at the same time.
God.
What? The trifecta?
You know what we call that? We call that a North Korean Tuesday.
Yeah. Usually you don't make it out of those.
Usually you don't come back from those.
So how many of those three were past tense on the tire?
Oh, all three are past tense now.
All three are past
All three are
tense. Wow.
PT now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, so, I mean, for like 4 days, I mean, you were walking a decent amount of play. You were in the best shape of your life.
Yeah, so I was walking to, I'm trying to say this without giving up any.
Quite a while.
I'd walk to work every morning, which it got to the point where I'm super close to where we work. And it was snowing up here. Like, one, it got me up in the morning. It's hard not to wake up once you hit that type of weather. And two, I'd fight a homeless person every day.
No, you wouldn't.
I would fight a homeless person every day to work, fight or flight.
What a great way to wake up.
It gets you ready for the show.
Just wake up and just fight or flight.
Yeah,
that day's
like
coffee.
you wake up, you're cracking a bottle on cement.
Nature's
and going
coffee.
at it at 5:15 in the morning.
Cracking a
Huh?
I don't believe you.
You don't believe me? We heard him crying. Cry baby back daddy's what we called him.
LSU promotes quarterback coach Joe Sloan to offensive coordinator. Will Rogers exits the transfer portal to remain at Washington. And former SEC Player of the Year at Tennessee, Ron Slay, joins us to talk everything college basketball. I'm Jake Crain, and welcome to Wednesday on Crain & Company. Brian Kelly would be clinically insane to leave LSU for Michigan. Why? Not because Michigan isn't a fantastic job or that there's anything wrong with Ann Arbor, but because he's already at a place in LSU where, believe it or not, at least in my opinion, it's easier to establish dominance than at Michigan. Now, there's a reason that Brian Kelly left Notre Dame, which is an established brand in college football, to go down to Baton Rouge. He saw what Bama looked like in the tunnel before they got ran over in the national championship game when he was the head coach of the Fighting Irish. He wanted to be able to recruit and sign the best of the best, a true even playing field. I mean, Louisiana is a state that is filled with talent every year to the brim, from the top to the bottom, from the east to the west. And LSU is the only power in that state. There's no Sparty, and nobody's spurring LSU to go to La Tech. Sorry, guys. But he already has found success there. And he's building a monster at a place where the biggest monsters roam. It's basically Mordor. All right? He's compiled an elite staff around him, and he just had the Heisman winner. Why would you leave Baton Rouge, where you have all of this momentum, to go follow the greatest season ever in Michigan history? There's no place to go but down. And look, Michigan's going to remain relevant regardless of what Harbaugh does. But the best chance to win bigger for longer is at LSU. And some will say, well, Jake, the SEC is the toughest conference in the country. And you're right. But the Big Ten just added Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA. It's not getting any easier, and there's no divisions, which will create more division. Ryan Day is trying to put the new Justice League together at Ohio State through the transfer portal, and Brian Kelly has already shown that he can succeed in the SEC. He won the West in year one, and the Emperor, Nick Saban, just left Tuscaloosa. The fact of the matter is, you can't make job place decisions based on purely emotion and fandom. And while Kelly's accent may be fake, his chance to dominate is not. So while some may believe the smoke if Harbaugh does leave to go to the Chargers or the Falcons, smells like a Jimmy Sexton special to me, buddy, which is always a good play. I'm going to bring in former Michigan quarterback David Cohn, my brother, former Western Colorado wide receiver Blaine Crain. Harbaugh hasn't gone anywhere yet, but you've heard this for a while. Brian Kelly, it's a dream job, this and that with a wiffle ball bat. And we have a ton of Michigan fans that watch this show. It is an incredible place. You just won a natty. Nobody's saying that Michigan is a bad job. But, David, I know you played there, and that's your alma mater. But when LSU gets hot, they can get hotter than just about anyone. And you're already there. You're already established. You've got the hard part out of the way.
Yeah.
You've won early. You win the West. Yeah, you lost to Georgia in the Globonauts in the SEC championship game, but you did beat Alabama and Nick Saban. Then in year 2, yeah, your defense got ran through like a finish line, but you had the Heisman winner. You've got an elite staff. You've recruited really well, and it seems like a pretty good fit.
Let me explain it to you in plain English here. Brian Kelly is not leaving LSU.
No way.
For Michigan. I agree with you that this feels like the Jimmy Sexton special, whoever he's represented by, to try and get a bigger contract or a new extension or something like that. For all the reasons that you mentioned, and it's not because that I view LSU as that much better of a job than Michigan.
And it's not that much better.
I see them both as top 6 or top 7 jobs in the country. Now, a couple things I do find interesting, though, is, Brian Kelly's the winningest coach in Notre Dame history. All right, gives that up to go to LSU. And for a lot of the reasons that we always talk about, you can put a fence around that state and the high school recruiting is better there in that state. Now, geographically, and not just geographically, but from a historical perspective and tradition too, Notre Dame and Michigan are very similar, right? Yes. So to watch Michigan now go undefeated and win the national championship, I do think it's interesting, and Brian Kelly's having to look at that and look what Jim Harbaugh was able to do at a very similar Midwestern school that he was not able to accomplish while he was at Notre Dame. Something else I find interesting is 2 of the last 3 coaches at LSU have been rumored to be leaving LSU for Michigan.
Les Miles.
I will have to say, though, the Les Miles thing was a caveat. He coached for Bo Schembechler. He was on staff there. I think it's a completely different situation. And look, we still don't even know if Jim Harbaugh is going to leave. Jim Harbaugh may remain at Michigan, even though the news could break any minute that he's going to be the next coach at the Chargers. So we'll have to see. It's just, to me, from my perspective, as I sit here right now, you hit the nail on the head with he's gotten the hard part out of the way. You've already built up the foundation at your new place. You took the risk. It paid off early. You won the SEC West, and you just landed the number 1 quarterback in the 2025 class out of where? The state of Michigan. I don't see Brian Kelly as going anywhere.
Yeah, and Blaine, again, it's smart to play this up, right? We see, coaches leverage this and leverage that to be able to, accumulate more wealth and get their contracts changed. But I want to go back to the point of Nick Saban just left Alabama.
Yeah.
Right? And I know Kirby has an absolute Frankenstein walking around in Athens right now, and that's not going anywhere anytime soon. But when I think of LSU, the brand of LSU. And I know, again, they were bad on defense last year. I think that's going to be fixed with bringing in Blake Baker and the changes that they've made. But I still, even though they're in the SEC, I feel like LSU is one of those 3 to 4 golden egg places that it's not a one-off of, hey, we had a bunch of guys that were seniors that played together for 3 or 4 years that now they won a national championship. It's going to take us another year or 2 to reload to have that shot. I feel like LSU can recreate this every year.
I mean, yeah, they can. And you've seen that do that, especially with the transfer portal and NIL now. There's not a single reason in my head why Brian Kelly would want to go to Michigan. Someone give me a logical reason why Brian Kelly would want to leave LSU and go to Michigan, especially right now after timing. We're talking about following Nick Saban. You're going to follow Jim Harbaugh.
Go under-deliver.
After the historic season that he just did at Michigan. And the one thing, realistically, think about it, if you're Brian Kelly, I think LSU as a school wants to win a lot more than what Michigan does. I think Michigan, the fact that right now Jim Harbaugh, and you said this the other day on the show, is not getting what he wants as a contract from the school of Michigan.
That would never happen at LSU.
And NIL, too.
And NIL.
That would never happen at LSU.
If LSU just won a natty, all right, there would be unlimited resources and unlimited money given to Brian Kelly because they want to win that bad. I think Jim Harbaugh won despite being at Michigan. I think he's getting held back somewhat. I think the class that he had was deep. It's a class that he brought there and a bunch of guys that believed in one thing, and you saw that on the field. But I don't know how bad Michigan wants to win at Michigan, but I know how bad. I know how bad LSU wants to win a football game, and seeing that little Napoleon guy not walking around on that sideline anymore only helps them out every day.
Yeah, and we're not talking about the fans. Michigan has as many fans. You could land in the Ukraine right now and find 3 Michigan fans before you get out of the airport, right? So we're not talking about the fans. It's the administration. It's kind of how they go about their business.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly, Jim Harbaugh probably has to go ask for money. I think Brian Kelly could walk past a lemonade stand in a rundown neighborhood where nobody has any money, and they would give him all the money in the jar from the lemonade stand to go out and try and get another recruit. That to me, from an administration standpoint and what LSU is willing to do, right? And look, I understand the Connor Stallions thing at Michigan, but that wasn't an administrative thing. That was what was going on in the coaching staff, and that was Jim Harbaugh, in my opinion, being smart and being intricate with it.
Man, I think it's fascinating just from you guys from an outside perspective talking about the powers that be at the University of Michigan and how much do they want to win, especially coming off an undefeated season, 15-0, best season in program history. I think some things have changed with Santa Ono being the president now. Again, I don't know how long that'll last.
Santa's the president?
Presidents come and go. His name is Santa. Clearly, he has Jim Harbaugh's back more than even the athletic director, Ward Manuel. And I talk about this a lot with buddies of mine, and sometimes we're perplexed that Michigan won't go all in on NIL. And it's like, do you really want to be great again? Do you really want to win a national championship? Well, they just did that, and I think in large part they did that because of Jim Harbaugh. And maybe it's not even so much a Michigan thing. Even the Big Ten. We saw Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti suspend Jim Harbaugh for a rule that wasn't even a Big Ten rule.
Greg Sankey would have suspended Charlie Baker.
Exactly. You would have never seen that in the SEC. So I do talk about this with buddies of mine a lot. And the question that I've had the past 2 weeks here is, I wonder if that'll change now that they won a national championship. Now that Michigan's been on top, do the fan base and the alumni say, you know what, we could do this several times a decade?
Well, I wonder, either that's going to happen, or it's the other side where Ward Manuel and them and everybody involved in it says, see, we can win it without us having to do any of this other stuff. Like, see, we won it regardless. So
as you watch Jim Harbaugh possibly go to the Chargers and J.J. McCarthy go to the NFL.
Everybody scatters.
Good luck.
Like roaches when you turn the light on. Good luck. No, it's going to be fascinating. We want to know what you think. We're going to open the phone lines up at 7:15 a.m. Central. We want to know which is a better job, in your opinion. Is it Michigan? Is it LSU? But I'll tell you, when it comes to trying to re-energize yourself, revitalize yourself, maybe you're older. Maybe you want to get the passion back, right? You want to be able to go out and work out better. Because we all get less energy as we age due to natural loss of testosterone. Well, some of us that have testosterone. You decided to do something about it, go get Nugenix. You'll feel revived, energized, and you'll be working out like you used to. Nugenix Total T testosterone booster with Testofen. It'll help you turn back the clock, and you can prove it to yourself risk-free. Blaine, you've tried it. You can speak to it. You just go in there and start throwing weights around.
No, just from an energy standpoint, man, you can tell the difference on a daily basis. And that one, my testosterone was down. I started taking this, and man, every day it felt different.
Definitely. Well, new energy, muscle drive, and even more passion. And you can get your complimentary sample when you text 231-231 and enter keyword Crain. That's CRAIN. So text 231-231 and enter keyword Crain. And you'll also get a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest and most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you lose fat fast and get lean even faster. Absolutely free. So text 231-231 and enter keyword Crain. That's 231-231 and enter keyword Crain. All right, let's get to the Booster Club.
All right, let's go to UT. He says Brian Kelly needs to win 10 games this year or sneak in the playoffs at 9-3, or else I imagine Brian Kelly's seat will start to get a little bit warm.
Well, with the 12-team playoff, at a place like LSU where the expectation is very high, if every year that you don't have an incredible year, your seat's going to get a little bit warmer. You coach in the SEC. Like, very rarely is there just a seat that's cool for a really long time. So, yes, but isn't that just stating the obvious? Like that if you don't have success at LSU during a football season, your seat's going to be a little bit hotter on the next one. That's everybody. That goes for Florida. That goes for Alabama. That goes for Auburn. That just goes for everywhere in the SEC. Remember, if you donate and it's on topic, we will read it. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say.
Do it.
But let's continue.
All right, let's go to O. Danny's. He says, if Les Miles and Coach O can win a natty at LSU, why would the winningest coach at Notre Dame not be able to win one at LSU and become the new dynasty in the SEC? Go Tigers.
Well, it's
true.
Dynasty, it's capable. That's what I was talking about. LSU is capable. But for sure, I mean, one of the two previous coaches, one of them ate the grass, the other one smoked it, and they both won national championships. So yes, Brian Kelly, who's the ultimate CEO, a master builder, should be able to win a national championship or two, or maybe even three at LSU, depending on how long he's there. So yeah, again, that's one of the beautiful things about coaching at LSU, is that you don't have to be Neil deGrasse Tyson to go win a national championship. Just take care of your business, stay organized, have good structure, have accountability, and the talent will bring itself in.
Which is just, even thinking back on this last season, it continues to shock me how bad they were on defense. With a historic offense.
Do you think it helped or hurt them to be that, like, because what did LSU end up winning? 9 games?
Yeah.
In 9 games. Do you think it hurt them to have a Heisman winner, but kind of a mediocre season?
No. Well, you talking about, are you saying
just
that
from recruiting?
Just like from the standpoint of, like,
did having a good offense affect their defense?
You had a Heisman winner. Okay, but your defense was that bad. It kind of just it shows you what could have been. Because, look, you're not going to have another Jaden Daniels roll through that.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you wasted a generational offense 4 years coming off another generational offense with Joe Burrow. I mean, yes, and it's just weird seeing LSU be bad on defense in general. It's like watching your mom kiss another guy other than your dad. It's just weird to look at.
Yeah, and they were bad on defense this season before we knew that Jaden Daniels was going to have a historic season.
Well, as great and as elite as they were on offense, they were that bad on defense.
Historically bad.
Yeah, and that just surprises me for Brian Kelly, who had won the SEC West in his first year. And you just don't, like, you consider there to be a floor on both sides of the ball with a coach like Brian Kelly.
And with athletes like LSU has. I don't think, again, you could go out there and throw peanut butter and jelly and vanilla ice cream at people schematically on defense, and you should have good enough athletes where, number one, that may be the smartest way to go about it because they can go out there and run around and play. But watching them be so soft, because that's what it was. We're going to call it spit. I mean, they were getting knocked off the ball like it was almost like we are going to give up points. Just how quickly can the defense get their ass off the field and put the offense back on there so we can just try and win a shootout?
Let's go to Eddie. He says, Brian Kelly going to Michigan would be like Brian Harsin going from Boise State to Auburn.
That's a good laugh on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it is.
All right, let's go to Christina. She says, #CC, does Jim Harbaugh take Jesse Minter if he goes to the NFL? If so, we should just hide in a dark room until the end of 2024 season and hope we made it out all right.
Yeah, I'm bringing the band with me. I may be a great lead singer, but I need the guy playing bass who could absolutely
What if this is what's happening? What if Jim Harbaugh sits Jesse Minter down and he says, look, Jesse, I'm basing my entire decision on you. If you come with me, I'll go to the NFL.
Jesse, are we going to the NFL?
Yeah, are we going or are we
going to the NFL?
What are we doing, Jesse?
Well, it's funny because if I'm Jim Harbaugh, I'm like, man, the last DC I had that went to the NFL is absolutely balling right now for the Ravens. He's about to be a head coach in the NFL at the same time I am. So, yes, if I am going to move myself to the NFL, I am going to try and bring the best parts of the band with me to the NFL. Right? So, yes. And look, what a great problem to have. And this is what I say about when people are like, oh, the transfer portal, if Jim Harbaugh leaves, it's this late, they're going to come and rate us. They need to change the rule. I would love to have the problem as a fan of my team to say, God, we played so long this year and made it so far in the postseason that if our head coach goes to the NFL and gets an upgrade, then we may lose some players. I'd much rather have to have that worry than be like, God, like, are we ever going to be good again? That is a very high-class problem.
All right, we're on the topic of coaches leaving for the NFL. Christopher Jordan wants to know, is there any amount of money that could lure Kirby Smart to the NFL?
No.
There has to be some amount of money.
Well, I mean, what are you going to give him? $1 billion? But if you're Kirby, why? Why? To go to the Falcons? So I'm going to leave Georgia, which I've built up.
What if they said $25 million a year, 8-year contract?
So $200 million?
There you go.
I want it up front. I want the $200 million guaranteed. I want Deshaun Watson money. That's what I want. I want guarantee. I don't want promises. I don't want handshakes. I don't want you to whisper sweet nothings in my ear. I want a big check to take to a big bank that says $200 million.
You have to take it to a big bank because you can't even cash it.
No, it won't fit in there. Yeah. I need $200 million. It's a J.G. Wentworth situation. I want my money, and I want it now.
Would he say yes to the Falcons? Would Kirby say yes to the Falcons?
Everybody has a price.
8 years, $200 million up front, big check, big bank, go cash it.
I don't know if they'd ever fire Kirby if he went to the Falcons. Like, he could have 3 bad seasons. They'll never fire
Oh, they'll fire you.
I don't know.
They'll fire your ass to the sun.
I don't know.
They just basically fired Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick. You tell me they're going to fire Kirby Smart?
In Atlanta?
Kirby Smart ain't done a damn thing.
You're following Arthur Smith?
They'd fire him into the sun.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think an NFL team would fire a coach?
And then Georgia would immediately take him back.
Yeah,
I'm talking about for the amount
and
of
he'd go
time.
immediately back to Georgia.
I think Kirby Smart could have multiple bad seasons. They would.
Yeah, Kirby Smart would have 2 bad seasons. They'd fire him. That's it. The NFL. It ain't college, buddy. That ain't how it works.
And they'd probably figure out a way to get out of the $200 million.
Yeah. They'd find cause.
You know who Kirby's agent is?
That's true.
Yeah, he ain't getting out of that $200 million, buddy.
Well, just depends.
We'll see.
Let's go to DW. Ron, he wants to know, since Jaden Daniels was kind of a dark horse Heisman winner last year, do y'all kind of have a dark horse Heisman winner this year in your head for the college football season?
I got one. Dark horse? Noah Fafita.
I got one. Jackson Dart.
Yeah, that's a good one, too. And I think their odds are about the same. I looked a couple days ago. I know
Carson Beck, I think, that it got the best odds right now, which...
Yeah, so plus 750 are the best odds, and I think there's 3 guys at that. I think the Noah Fafita was around plus 2,500 or something like that, and I think Jackson Dart was around plus 2,000.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to more likely.
All right, what's more likely? Let's go with the NFL first. What is more likely? Brock Purdy leads the San Francisco 49ers to a Super Bowl win, or Travis Kelce proposes to Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl postgame?
Well, I think Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's relationship's fake, and they're going to break up after 2024.
New song? New album?
Yeah, new song, yeah.
Travie in the end zone.
Travie dropped my heart. I think Brock Purdy leads the Niners to this.
Really? Okay. What do you say? Because you're big on the Taylor Swift conspiracy NFL theory here.
I would say this right now. We all know Travis Kelce dropped the bag. Go look at his ex-girlfriend, let's be honest. 2, I would probably say Travis Kelce proposing to Taylor Swift.
It's already likely. Planned. It's already planned.
Goodell's in on it. Okay. Biden's in on it.
Which means the Chiefs beat the Ravens this weekend.
Look, it's not about football, guys. It's not about that. It's not about the players on the field. It's about who's sitting in the stands.
It's already written.
Right? And the leader of the Illuminati is sitting in the stands. And she's waiting for the Chiefs to win and win the Super Bowl. She's going to come do a halftime performance. Travis Kelce's going to propose to her after the game. Then 5 months later, we're going to find out they never even liked each other.
Yeah.
All right, there you have it. Next one up. What is more likely? Jared Goff leads this Lions team to a Super Bowl win. All right, it's the state of destiny this year in Michigan. Or that Jim Harbaugh returns to be the head coach at Michigan.
I think Jim Harbaugh returns to be the head coach of Michigan. Look, I know the Lions are America's team right now, and I would love for them to win it. I just don't trust their defense, especially the secondary. And the weather's supposed to be good in San Francisco, right? And look, Jim Harbaugh, I know he's got, they said that the marriage is already in the works for the Chargers. I get that, but again, Jim Harbaugh is the type of guy to me that would just whip the car around real quick at any point in time. You don't know what anybody that's going to show up reading a Dr. Seuss book in khaki shorts and cleats inside. I'm not going to try and guess what they're going to do. I just don't feel like the Lions can play the way they played. And I know the Buccaneers are built a little bit different than the 49ers, obviously. I just don't trust the Lions secondary. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Lions win it. I would love for Dan Campbell and them to win it. I love what he's got going right now. But I think there's a better chance Harbaugh returns to Michigan.
Show the Lions
golf in the boys.
There we go.
I think Harbaugh's gone. I think Harbaugh's gone when J.J. McCarthy decided he's going to the draft. I think if J.J. would have stayed, I think Harbaugh has a lot better chance to stay. But I do think this Lions football team, the one thing this Lions team, which the 49ers have seen this weakness, if you run it right at the 49ers, they will give up yards. All right, you saw that with the Packers. And there's one team who knows how to run the damn ball. That's the Lions. We've seen Brock Purdy make mistakes in big games. I know he's a winner and won most of his playoff games, but we've seen this Lions team come out to play, especially as 49ers. And we saw the 49ers against the Packers, and the Packers and the Lions played each other, and we saw what happened there. So give me Jared Goff and the boys. Anybody can win a football team. Harbaugh's gone.
All right, we'll see.
Stuff's already out the door.
Next one up, Eagles coach Nick Sirianni fired their offensive coordinator, Brian Johnson. Looks like they're set to part ways with the defensive coordinator as well. This is a team that won the NFC last year, played the Chiefs down to the wire in the Super Bowl. So what's more likely, that Nick Sirianni would lead the Eagles back to a Super Bowl, or that Bill Belichick would lead a new team he goes with to the playoffs?
The Eagles to the Super Bowl. Because, you still got a ton of talent. I know a lot of people are down on the Eagles right now. I get it. Jason Kelsey retired. I'm very interested to see who they're going to bring in at OC. Could it possibly be Cliff Kingsbury? I don't know. But Bill Belichick, I think that runs over.
You think it's over?
I think that runs over. He's not getting any younger. I was glad to see that the Eagles didn't fire Nick Sirianni because that would have been absolutely ridiculous outside of something happening off the field. But I just got to go back. Did you say Brock Purdy doesn't play well in big games?
No. We've seen Brock Purdy make mistakes.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's a human being. He's 21-5 overall, and he lost the NFC Championship last year to the Eagles after he's only attempted 4 passes when he got hurt.
This next one and possibly this next 2 will be weighed heavier than anything else.
Yeah,
so he has, and you talked about it. The weather's going to be nice. He clearly plays different in the weather. There was issues last week about, am I going to play the game with the glove on? Am I going to take the glove off? That's not going to be the case this next week. So at least get to a Super Bowl, and I think we'll be having.
Can you surgically make your hands bigger?
Yeah.
Like if you can, I mean, they're putting stuff in people's knees right now to make them taller.
No way. We're landing stuff upside down and
so on Brock Purdy, just get oversized hand surgery.
Okay.
Like what would you
down
do?
The
Would you
street,
just make the finger? There's people cutting off. There's people cutting off parts to make other parts, buddy. I can promise you that. We can find a way to make a hand.
And those don't work well.
And those don't work.
So how can you still? Would you still be able to throw the football well?
Well, what if you just made your fingers longer? Like how many toes do you really
Your body
need?
will reject foreign objects inside of you.
Oh, okay. Oh, so sorry. I forgot we had Dr. Justine.
Justine, can you get a surgeon on the line?
Yeah,
please?
can you get Peter McCullough on the line?
I got you guys.
We can get our boy on who did your surgery.
Yeah.
He hooked it up.
Hey, but speaking about scientists, I do want to say this before we go to the next one. And have anybody ever seen Nate Oates and John Brinkus in the same room? Look at a picture. Dude, look at a picture of those two. I'm telling you, it's the same guy.
Wait, we should get them both on.
It's
That's
the
our
same
boy,
picture.
John Brinkus.
Just to prove that they're not the same person? I don't
to
know, man.
prove they are
One
the
was
same
one was a stats teacher that, the other one's a sports scientist. I don't know. I think it's the same. Look at a picture. If you're not driving or anything right now, when we get done, Google Nate Oates and then John Brinkus, the sports scientist. Surprise, it's the same picture.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. But subconsciously, I was always thinking about it. Good. Quickly, what was more likely? Nick Sirianni leads the Eagles back to the Super Bowl, or that Bill Belichick could lead a team, let's just say the Falcons, to the playoffs?
Oh, man, give me Bill Belichick and the Migos.
In the NFC South?
The combination we never knew we needed.
I wish they'd have Bill Belichick walk up in that thing that Drewski does, like the talent auditions.
Who is Drewski?
With him with Willie, with the Roll Tide Willie guy.
Is that him?
The big black guy.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got the yellow, he has
give a pitch about nothing but a tie.
Oh, yes, I do know what you're talking about. All right, next one up. Will Rogers has exited the transfer portal. He's going to stay at his new school, Washington, after he transferred from Mississippi State. So what is more likely, that Will Rogers, who's nearly the all-time passing leader in the SEC before he left, will be a Heisman finalist in 24, or that Alabama will finish with a top 5 team?
You always do this a couple times in these more likelies, and this is so tough. I mean, you've got to go Bama top 5 team, right? I just don't trust Will Rogers losing all that Washington lost at wide receiver and your head coach. And I like Jed Fish. I know everybody in Arizona hates Jed Fish right now, and I get it. I understand it, and I respect y'all for it. But Kalen DeBoer's won everywhere he's gone. You return your quarterback in Jalen Milroe. They obviously chose Austin Mack, the redshirt freshman, over Will Rogers, even though Kalen DeBoer was trying to bring Will Rogers to Washington. I'm interested to see Will's health. I hope his shoulder gets better. I'm rooting for him, but I would like to think that it's a lot more likely that Alabama finishes with a top 5 team with still, I know they've lost guys in the portal, but with the talent they have, as opposed to Will Rogers being able to be a Heisman finalist.
God, I agree. You have to say Alabama. And even with Alabama losing all this, losing Caleb Downs and all this talent, really guys, they're still loaded, okay? They're still absolutely loaded from head to toe. And you expect this from a Nick Saban team. After Nick Saban just left, you're going to have some fall off. So give me Alabama, top 5 record for sure. Give me the Tide.
All right, 2 more here. Uga 10 died. Sad news. Rest in peace, Uga, University of Georgia mascot. Hey, saw him through back-to-back national championships. So that was amazing. And then, of course, PETA wants to come out, and I already told him to get off my lawn a year ago. Told him to get off Uga's lawn. But what's more likely here, that Georgia wins the Natty in 24, or that Jeremy Boring casts us in a new film mocking PETA?
God, I hope it's the second one. I would say Georgia winning the Natty. They're my early lean, which is not crazy when you look at what they return. Obviously, with Carson Beck and what we know they're going to have up front. I want to read. Can I read this
Please.
thing real quick? So here's what PETA put. Okay, R.I.P. Uga. He struggled to breathe every day of his entire life. Uga, University of Georgia's retired mascot, died this morning. And it said, this is PETA. The University of Georgia promotes chronically suffering, breathing, impaired breeds, and the cruel dog breeding industry by using an English bulldog as its symbol. The school has subjected 11 dogs to the stress and danger of being used as its mascot. It must stop dooming dogs to live like this. Okay, here's what I want to say. Number one, that dog lived a better life than probably 70% of the human beings on this country, if you are well-traveled and understand the world around you outside of where you're at in the United States, which I guarantee you, most of these people are just sitting at home drinking white wine, watching Lifetime and Hallmark movies, and listening to Sarah McLachlan songs. The second thing, I have 2 bulldogs at home. Watch your mouth, okay? Watch your mouth. This just goes to show you and listen, they're, man, impaired breathing, like, I can understand people saying, oh, well, they do struggle to breathe. Mine, dogs scare me sometimes, bulldogs, with the way they breathe. But just PETA goes about this the worst way.
Yeah.
They just go about it the way. You want people to not eat meat? Okay. All right. I get it. There's a lot of people that are vegetarians. Hell, my wife's pescatarian. All right. But you're coming after Uga? You bet. Watch your step coming after Uga, right?
I'm confused by their call to action with these breathing impaired dogs. Like, what do you want to kill all?
What do you want them to do?
Yeah, they're alive already.
Yeah.
Like, not adopt them, not have them. Like, I think PETA hates animals.
I think so too.
You may be right.
I think PETA hates animals.
Maybe PETA doesn't want everybody else to
cover.
eat. Maybe PETA doesn't want everybody else to eat the animals because they want to eat them.
It's like the World Health Organization wants us sick. I think PETA hates animals. They want to keep the animals.
I like where you're going with
God,
it.
like, y'all understand?
You got to see through it. You know?
This dog lived the best life.
For sure.
The best life. Got everything he wanted at all times.
Air-conditioned house.
Air-conditioned house.
With a 50-year warranty.
Got to watch Georgia win 2 natties.
And now he'll be entombed at Sanford Stadium.
Yeah.
He's going to be buried better
than 70% of human beings on the planet.
You can't help these people, man.
No. Listen, stupidity. Maybe y'all should stop reproducing and breeding. Maybe that should be. Maybe we should put out a poster that says, hey, PETA, y'all stop reproducing. Just stop it, because y'all are obviously impaired, doing dumb stuff like this. Stop making the world dumber.
All right, last one here. Let's go to Major League Baseball. We have 3 new Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Adrian Beltre got 95% of his vote. Todd Helton, 79.7%. Remember watching him play, man? Joe Mauer got 76.1%. Billy Wagner just missed out this time around, 73%. Gary Sheffield barely missed out, 63%, and then Andrew Jones at 61.6%. Now, here's what's interesting. Alex Rodriguez at 34.8% and Manny Ramirez at 32.5%. Obviously, there's a lot of reports about PED use with them.
You're not putting Barry Bonds in, you can't put him in.
Exactly. So my question is, what's more likely? That Andrew Jones will get in, or that they'll cave on either Alex Rodriguez or Manny Ramirez down the stretch, and those guys will get in? Alex Rodriguez has 7 more chances. Manny Ramirez is down to 2 more chances.
I think there's a better chance that Andrew Jones gets in than those guys. I don't see them caving on this anytime soon, because if you cave on one of them, you have to cave on all of them. That's just the truth. Like, you can't disproportionately be like, well, you took steroids, you can get in, and you took steroids, but you're not going to get in. Some people will make the argument that Andrew Jones, he did strike out a lot. I get that. But if you watched Andrew Jones play, and first off, defensively, there are guys that have made the Hall of Fame just being the best defensive players at their position. Andrew Jones is one of the best defensive center fielders that I've ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. And if you know ball and you've watched it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I don't think he reached 2,000 hits or 500 home runs. There is an argument against Andrew not making it, that you can make a logical argument. But I do think that there is a better argument for why he should. Because there was a point where he was dominating the sport at center field and would do things, to win games for the Braves in a time where, and I know they're winning now, but the Braves won the division like 12 years in a row. So to me, I think Andrew Jones is a Hall of Famer. Is it by a mile? No, but I think he is.
Well, he was close this time around.
Happy for those guys that made it though. Todd Helton.
Also, Jim Leland.
Joe Mauer.
Jim Leland, the manager,
nice.
is going to be inducted as well.
And look, I think steroids should be a part of baseball. I really do.
Coming.
You've been consistent on this.
I really do.
That and
I
fights.
think Alec Rodriguez should be part of the Hall of Fame. I think Manny Ramirez should be part of the Hall of Fame. I think regardless or not if these guys use steroids, I think they're Hall of Fame worthy baseball players.
So you think if you cheat, then you should make the Hall of Fame?
I mean, I just don't think it's cheating.
You don't think that taking steroids is cheating?
Well, just strike all of their records. See, I think baseball's trying to have it both ways, where they still leave these numbers up there on their record books and just put an asterisk, and they capitalize off the marketing of those guys, especially in the Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa era.
We don't know.
But then on the back end, say no, you can't. You're not eligible for the Hall of Fame.
We don't know.
Again,
all
I'm
the
fine
guys.
with, but just look, if it's that big of a deal, if they gained such a competitive advantage, remove them from the history books of the game.
Yeah, I can understand that, but they want to make that money off the market.
I get it.
It's like we don't know all the guys who has it.
Yeah, but still,
we don't know.
But we know some
Andrew
guys
Jones
who have.
use PEDs.
Yeah, it was never.
He told me he didn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like
Okay.
you can't do that. You can't go around saying, well, since we know this guy did steroids, but we don't know that. You don't want to prove negatives. Proving a negative, there's a reason, well, at least it used to be innocent until proven guilty in this country. But there's a reason that trying to prove a negative doesn't work. Yeah, never.
All right.
And Chipper Jones.
Really?
No.
Chipper
Really?
Jones was a faithful husband.
Yeah,
That's what I know.
exactly. And never went to Hooters.
Never went to
Anyway.
Hooters, ever, not even once. Got them Daytona wings. But anyways, every Wednesday, before we get Ron Slay on here, I'm going to get back to the Booster Club. Remember, the phone line's open. We'll get to donos here soon. We got 9 minutes. Every Wednesday, David Cohn,
Yes, Coney.
I'm back.
You
the
tree of a man.
84-year-old that's trapped
I
in
got
a
something to
35-year-old
say.
God,
body.
you're huge.
You really are. You're like
giant,
Boban's
dude.
nephew.
What?
You're a giant.
Slowbon. All right, David. It's Wednesday. Who's walking up to you, making just strict eye contact, and G in your L?
California lawmakers need to get off my lawn.
Gavin Newsom said.
This month, the California subcommittee proposed a bill that would clean up their streets and ban illicit drug use in the Golden State. Nah, I'm just kidding. The bill aims to ban tackle football for 12-year-olds. You know, the important things. Now, I've said for 10 years, football will one day be prohibited in this country, and that movement would begin in California. Well, everything is right on track. And this is the same state, mind you, where a 10-year-old boy can have life-altering sexual reassignment surgery, but would be unable to play tackle football because California committee members think the sport is too dangerous. Look, every man in this room is acutely aware of the cognitive effects caused by CTE. And no, football is not for every 11-year-old, but if we constantly teach our kids to run from danger, to always play it safe, then what will protect them when danger has them cornered? This is another example where a room full of red tapes examine the most extreme consequences of a particular action, but never assess the ramifications of eliminating that same action altogether. Yes, there are risks to playing football. Has anyone bothered to ask, what are the risks of not playing? How many kids are kept off the streets because they're at football practice? How many kids are afforded a valuable opportunity thanks to the game? Not just a chance to play professionally or even earn a college scholarship, but opportunities to meet a challenge head on and not quit. The football field taught me more life lessons and more about myself than I ever learned in school. Now, Governor Gavin Newsom, in the rarest of wins, says he plans to veto this bill. But make no mistake, these cultural caretakers will return, never satisfied until they've used the full instrument of bureaucracy against the American people. But we will never be satisfied until they get the message. We don't need y'all to keep us safe. We don't need y'all to make life comfortable. There are very few rites of passage left for our young ones. And I'm not going to sit by and watch the few we have left become extinct in the name of safety. So, California Assembly members, stay off our football fields, stay out of our lives, and get off our lawns.
Bars. Very nice, Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Very nice. Hey, we're not going to play tackle football, but let's chop off your private parts and then go take a grumpy on the sidewalk.
You can do that in California.
It's
Say
just,
a grumpy.
it's just,
How wild is that?
Listen, here's what I tell people. Like he said, nobody's forcing anybody to play. It's not like, hey, you're 11 years old in California. All right, we're going inside drill. Like right when you wake up. No, you don't want to play football, don't play football. But banning it it's counterproductive in multiple ways. Rites of passage, yes, you're 100% correct. But you want to know how to be the safest once you're playing at a higher level of football in high school and you're tackling and running. You practice tackling. One of the most dangerous things we're doing right now is taking away hitting in practice. And the less you hit in practice, not that you want to hit all the time, there's levels to everything. The more unprepared you're going to be to hit during a game, and the more likely you are to get hurt. Like that's just, if you don't know how to tackle, that's when people really get hurt. It's then or when you're not playing full speed or hanging around a pile or something like that. But here's what I'll say to California. Y'all are already losing y'all's best quarterbacks and football players to the South. All right, I can go down the list. Bryce, Jaden, I can keep going for days. And you can look, it's not changing right now. You want to lose just anybody that could defend y'all from anybody? Go ahead and ban tackle football. Y'all think people are leaving California now? You know who's rooting for this the most? U-Haul. U-Haul is praying to God that they pass this. Because you think they made money before and people are just running out of California as fast as humanly possible, and I don't blame them. This would double it. It just goes to show you, and I hate it. I hate it for California, and I hope so. If I like something, I like something. If the bill gets vetoed, I'll be the first one to stand up and applaud it, right? I'm not going to sit here and just be tribal. But the fact that this is even a thing, this scares me because y'all are on a border, right? Or y'all are on a coast. California being soft is scary for America. Because if I'm somebody that's going to invade the United States, first place I'm going, California. What are they going to do? To read you poetry when you show up with guns? Like, I'm telling you, man, it's scary what's going on over there.
How old were you guys when you started playing tackle football?
Oh. I was 11.
I was 11 as well. So, and I don't know, maybe that's just a thing that in South Georgia, that was the age we started playing tackle football. I wanted to play earlier as a 10-year-old, but it was a thing where I would have had to play up, and my mother was like, no, your age plays flag.
Well, David, you were 6'5".
Look, in flag football, I'm glad I got a couple years of organized football to understand how the game works before you put on the pad. So it was a big moment for me as an 11-year-old. So I don't know in California if 8, 9, and 10-year-old kids are
See,
all playing
I'm not, I don't think 8-year-olds should be tackling each other. I think 11 and 12 is the perfect age because, look, you're not fully developed, obviously, but you're developed to a point where I think physically, and not every kid, some kids are built different, and if you're not built to play football, don't play football. I wasn't built to play in the NBA. I'm not going to play in the NBA. So, but, I mean, at the end of the day, 11 years old, I think, is an age where you can go in and start doing it, and it's not nearly as dangerous as when you're 8 years old.
Well, I used to, 11-year-old, you can go play football all together, but look, I used to get hit harder in the front yard of my house in neighborhood football. So you can try to stop this. It's not going to work, in my opinion, but you're not going to stop all these kids from getting outside, getting together, and playing football in the front yard. I used to play football in the street.
Yeah.
In the street, and that'll get you ready for anything. I didn't like football the first time I went and played it with pads on.
Nobody does.
Like, trust
Unless
me.
you're insane.
My dad was a linebacker in the NFL. I played fullback and linebacker, and it was I didn't like hitting.
It hurts.
All right, it was not great, but you learn year in, year out how to hit, and you get to a point in life as a man to where you have to get that out.
Well, this is just their first step, though. That's the thing with me. This is their first step to really trying to get rid of the game completely. That's how I see it.
Well, you want to lose badly?
You're Lincoln Riley right now. I'm out.
Oh, God.
I'm out.
That's what gives me pause when we have people on like Steve Dace and we talk to Kirk Herbstreit about making the Rose Bowl the permanent site of the college football championship. As awesome as the Rose Bowl is, I've been there, played in that. It's unbelievable, but I just get worried about going and handing like prize games like that to the state of California in perpetuity.
No, look, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But speaking about prizes, guys, it is college basketball season. We are very excited to bring on our first college basketball analyst / guest of the year, and it's a guy that was an absolute baller at Tennessee, SEC Player of the Year in 2003, a guy that I really enjoyed playing. He's now on the SEC network, and he's got one of the best podcast names from one of the funniest movies, The Boom Boom Room, The Upper Room, from one of my favorite movies of all time. Our guy Ron Slade. Ron, what is up, baby? What's up?
Hey, man, what's going on, man? I appreciate you guys having me, man. That was a hell of an introduction right there.
Hey, look, I appreciate it, man. We get fired up about college basketball around here. First thing we did, actually, when we started the show on Crain Company was get on a bus and go down to the Final Four.
Yeah, there's the photo right there.
We got that picture right there. But, Ron, we appreciate you joining us, man. I love watching you on the SEC Network. One of the things I respect about you is you call it like you see it. You don't dress it up. You give the people what you're really thinking. Obviously, you've got an incredible basketball mind. And I want to start just in an overview of college basketball, and we'll kind of work it back to some of the big matchups in the SEC, because I know while you work for the SEC Network, you keep up with all of it. And we've had incredible parity in college basketball over the last couple of years. I mean, last year, NCAA tournament brackets, I mean, you might as well just use it as a table setting now. But when I look at this year, and I want to get your opinion on it, I feel like there is even more parity this year than there was last year, where we had FAU and San Diego State finish in the Final Four. I don't know. There is not, when we saw some in college football, there is not one team that I look at sitting on the Golden Hill and say, all right, that team is better than everybody else. Can anybody else catch them? Do you agree with that?
I do. And I think you have the creme de la creme always that you think they can get there. When you start talking about guys like Kansas, Purdue, because of what they returned in the National Player of the Year, Zach Edey. But, man, it's other people coming to the lunchroom with their big brothers, too. And they want their ice cream sandwich and their own table, they chocolate milk. They want to be able to sit there by themselves. And you look like you get that. It's not just the blue bloods anymore. And I think that's what you get when you couple the super senior, the transfer portal, and you kind of put out the part of, getting freshmen in that is really going to come out there and make a splash when you can go to the mid-majors and get those guys instead of having to go to high school and get guys to step in right away. So you kind of even the playing field. And you got to think, all the old head OG coaches, they got out of the way.
Yeah.
So you got young guys coming in. You're not really knowing what to expect. If you were going on in the NCAA tournament and playing guys like Jay Wright, Jim Boeheim, all of these head coaches, Coach K, you kind of know what to expect because the blueprint is there. These new guys, man, you really don't know. You got Chris Beard and guys like this going to the Final Fours at Texas Tech, and you don't know really what to expect from it. So that's why you see teams like FAU that catch you by surprise. And it's like, whoa, where all these guys come from? But they can really play. Then they're 22, 23 years old as well.
Yeah.
So that plays a factor in it, man. But I love where the landscape is, though.
Yeah, and you mentioned the team, and I've kind of tried to keep my eyes on a couple of these teams that have been. I feel like we've had like 5 or 6 teams that are ranked number 1. When I look at Purdue, and I've talked about this before, I love Matt Painter. And I'm going to get to Tennessee, and I think, what Dalton Connect's going to make the difference for Tennessee in the NCAA tournament to take some pressure off of Vescovi. But when I look at Purdue and Matt Painter, I love Zach Edey. He's 9 foot tall. I don't know how, they get him to the game. I don't know how he fits in the arena, but somehow they find a way to do it. But when I look at Purdue, Braden Smith, right? But I don't trust their ability when they run up against a team with old guards, with physical guards, and we've seen that in the NCAA tournament. If Zach Edey's going to win his matchup, probably 10 out of 10 times. But if you can't win it with Ivy at guard and who they have, I mean, do you trust them to be able to make a run even though Zach Edey's playing year 9?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. And me as a competitor, if I was playing, I would look at it and say, I'm salivating, thinking if I get to play them. Because
for sure.
Let's say what it is, man. They don't go get the athletic guards, if you will. They do get guys around Edey that can shoot and fill it up. Mm-hmm. But at some point, man, when the game slows down, you throw strategies all out, you got to go get me a bucket. And there's nobody better that can do that than a point guard and a wing. And this is coming from a big man. Yeah. I hate saying it. But at the same time, man, when it's time to get busy, you need somebody at the top of the key or that wing that can say, all right, move. I got 2 dribbles to get to the cup, regardless of somebody guarding me, and I'm going to get there. Purdue doesn't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they go and win, so it's a lot of fluff around it, and you're looking like, oh, wait, look at Purdue. They've been number 1, number 3 all year throughout. Man, maybe they're going to really be good, but then they get shocked.
Yep.
When you get athletic guys up into them, that you got to handle the pressure, and you can't get into the big man as a release valve, it's totally different. Then you need guys to make plays one-on-one. They're not a good one-on-one making team. It's just part of it.
Yeah, and I know we're going to get back to the SEC and kind of a kick to you after this, but last night, Texas, huge win on the road at Oklahoma. Needed it so badly, coming off a win against Baylor. They won in the last second. And obviously looking at the way Hunter's playing now, the way he shot the ball lately, kind of him taking, him and Cunningham, they've got some pieces. And Rodney Terry needed it badly. When you look at this Texas team, and you look at the Big 12 in general, kind of what's your feeling? I know we've got Baylor over there. Texas Tech obviously is always a problem. BYU, I know they lost to Houston last night, who now both of them in the Big 12. But, man, that conference is pretty deep. What a huge win for Texas last night.
No, that conference is deep. It's very deep, man. Coach Terry, listen, man, I love him to death. You know what I'm saying? When he came out and they did the horns down and UCF, y'all should be doing that. Hey, man, Coach Terry, don't do that. You got to coach your team, man.
That's exactly right.
Let them young folks, man, that come into that situation, let them have a good time. They was doing it to the student section. They weren't being disrespectful. You know who Dawkins is? I just had to get that part out real quick.
Hey, I love it.
Yeah, because they coming to the SEC, and I can't wait to.
Like Ron, if it's disrespectful to throw horns down, then isn't it disrespectful to throw horns up? I'm not Jordan Peterson or a philosopher, but you're
on the right track.
I do feel like I'm right there.
You hit it right on the head.
It's soft.
So if that's going to be the case, let's everybody have class and not even celebrate. We might as well bring violins out after the game.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
That'd be cool too, though.
Yeah. Well, you got a symphony back there for the band. That would be pretty dope.
Look, Ron,
they pulled a little baby violin.
Oh, not the baby violin.
No, you can't.
No. Now you're stuck
but
on
back
them.
to your point, man. The Big 12. Big 12 is when you look at it, I think they are the only conference to say, man, we got 3 teams, or maybe a possible, if we play in spades, that can go out there and get to the Final Four and possibly win it. When you look at guys, Kansas and all these guys, they have them. Baylor, I think Baylor's still right there. You can't forget about Houston and people like that. They got a team, they got a conference that's going to beat up on each other, and it's part of it. That's what's supposed to be happening. The SEC, to me, rivals it. You know what I'm saying? And you look at the last champions, and you look at Baylor, the last 2 or 3 years, Baylor, you look at Kansas, you expect those guys to be there. What's going to be the difference from them getting there? Them self-destructing. That's the only thing, and they don't really do that in the NCAA tournament. So Big 12, but I love their coaches as well. I think that's one thing that gets left out. The coaches rival to what SEC football is, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Ron, I want to talk to you about Tennessee, and it needs to be an honest conversation here, because this is my new home state, right? We're here in Middleton.
You want me to take my orange glasses off?
Yeah, well, look.
I don't know.
It's going to have to be an honest conversation, because I'm just telling you, bad things happen when I pick the Vols, okay? I picked them to win the NCAA tournament 2 years ago. They lost to my alma mater, Michigan, in the second round. I picked them to win the baseball championship. They lost before they got to Omaha.
You're not allowed
I was picking them when Hendon Hooker was playing quarterback. Tennessee ranked 5 right now, Ron. The question is, am I the problem, and should I just fade Tennessee from now on? Is that what Tennessee fans want? Or should I just keep on that train and we'll get over that hump together? Tell me what to do, man.
Let me first say this. I'm Tennessee through and through. I got the power T located on me.
Oh, yeah.
This thing is deep. This thing is deep inside.
Tell the story.
I feel you.
You just ripped the butterfly right off all the right there in the mind that I'm trying to get rid of.
It's my fault.
Hey,
I'm the problem.
We've been dealing with this quite a while. We had German.
Okay, so it's not a new thing. It's not me.
It's not a new thing.
Okay.
I will say, man, no. I call that, a little bit of battered Vol syndrome. Mm-hmm. When people scared to pick the team or scared to live in the moment. Just think about all the good times you missed by being scared to live in that moment. I think this is an opportunity with all the sports, baseball, basketball, football, lady balls, whatever it may be. You go through it and you get caught. Stay in the moment. It's okay. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Do they have what it takes to get over the hump? I think so. And I say that because of Dalton Connect. I say that because you bring back the super seniors. I say that because you got a guy with a chip on his shoulder in Zakai Ziegler, who, when you talk about a guy going through an ACL, one thing you can't wait to do is get back and show everybody that you're better than you were when you left. And I think he's starting to show that. Once Coach Barnes and them took the time restrictions off, he's been running wild. And you got guys that learned from last year. When you talk about basketball in specific, you got Jemai Meshack, and you got to have this guy on every team. We just talked about Kansas. You talk about the upper echelon teams, Kentucky. You talk about Auburn. When you look at Kansas, they need Adams. Like, he may do some things that don't show up in the box score. Of course, he's not going to be Hunter Dickerson and all of and Harris and these guys. But you need them to be the glue guy. When you talk about Auburn, you need a Jalen Williams out there. When you talk about Kentucky, you need Reed Shepherd. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about Alabama, in order to do what they're supposed to do, they need a Grant Nelson. Jemai Meshack is that for Tennessee. When you go on the run, you need a guy to be a glue guy that's not going to do things to help pop up in the stat sheet. So to answer your question, no, don't never stop picking Tennessee. Let the batted ball syndrome people do that, man. And we on the positive track.
God, that's what I needed today on a Wednesday, man.
Well, it seems to me that this Tennessee, we've seen like the same flavor of ice cream from Tennessee every year. Really good defensively, play really hard. Vescovi can score. Ziegler can score. Josiah may get hot, here and there from three, especially when he gets in the corner. But they run into a wall at some point when they need somebody to be able to go get buckets in the NCAA tournament. And when I watch Dalton Connect, to me, he is the biggest nightmare matchup in the SEC. And I'm going to say something, and I'm not saying this man is Luka. Nobody is Luka. All right. But when I watch him play, there are some elements in his game where he looks like the diet, zero sugar, free version in college of Luka. Like, watch the man. He even looks like the man when you watch him play. He's big. You watch him and you're like, there's no way this guy can move like he moves, or he's as light on his feet as he is. And he can shoot over you really at any point in time. Is Dalton Connect, for lack of a better term, I think will be the connection they need to be able to take that next step and make that run in the NCAA tournament, Ron.
I like that beautiful play on words right there.
Thank you, sir.
I will say, man, looking at it, Val Kilmer comes to mind, Top Gun, Iceman, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I played in the era when Casey Clausen was there. He was the real true Iceman because he went out there, he won, he had ice running through his veins. This could be a second coming of him. You know what I'm saying? To your point, Luka is one that comes to mind. To me, a poor man's Paul George, in a sense, comes to mind. You know what I'm saying? Early on, because he plays at all three levels. He doesn't get sped up, to your point, as far as the Luka comparison. I do think Luka passes a little bit better. So that's
I agree with that. And listen, I want to make sure. I'm not saying he's Luka. I don't want anybody to take that out of context. No, but just play style, archetype.
I totally get what you're saying. A big guard that cannot get rushed, can put a guy on his hip, get where he wants to, in the post, outside, regardless of where it is, as long as the other hands don't come in there messing with him, he'll be fine. But I think he can be that guy to get him over the hump? Yes. Because the thing that gets Tennessee stuck when they go through cold spells, the ball movement is good. The body movement is good. But you're hoping that body movement, ball movement equals up to getting a good shot for you. In the NCAA tournament, when it's time to get over the hump, you can't have that. We don't have time to have body move. We have time to, hey, man, can you go get us a bucket or get to the foul line without putting the ball in the post and making it stop? Yes, you have that now from all degrees. 1/3 on the right, 1/3 in the middle, 1/3 on the left. He's good from it. If you want to put him in pick and roll, he makes the right play. If you want to put him right there on the block, he makes the right play. So if you double him, he's still going to get a good shot off, even if he's not a passer. This touch is so soft, you give an opportunity for guys like Jonas Adu, Josiah Jordan-James, to go in there and get a rebound, a tip out to give you another possession. And I think Dalton Connect brings that. And you got all these guys that understand we've been missing this. So hell yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Welcome. People like, how can he fit into the system? They letting the guy come in from the outside and just all of a sudden just thrive. No, they've been missing it. You scored the ball really well. Come on in. Tyreek Key, that's what you thought he was going to do last year. Mm-hmm. He floundered. You know what I'm saying? Julian Phillips, he was a freshman. He really wasn't ready to get that role and keep going. Dalton Connect is that guy, and it's all because he buys in and they allow him to do that. His teammates look for him. So now their responsibility is easy as a scorer. Oh, y'all don't care when I shoot? Look, watch this.
Yeah.
Let it fly.
Well, without a doubt, the guy who's benefited the most, I think, is Vescovy. Now he can worry about not getting doubled all the time and worry about that and trying to kill Bruce Willis in the next Die Hard movie. But, Ron, I want to keep it in the SEC. Last night, first, Lamont Paris, in my opinion, right now, is got to be the leader for the Coach of the Year in the conference. What he's done at South Carolina with Mac, with the guys he has, look, Michi, we know Michi's a dog, but it seems like that team defensively is playing together as about as much as anybody in the country. They walked Kentucky last night. And here's where I worry about Kentucky. Kentucky, to me, looks like LSU football from this past year. They will light it up on offense. They will torch you on offense. But defensively, they're not very good. They're just not very good when you watch Kentucky play. But I don't want to take anything away from South Carolina. So a huge win for them last night. Texas A&M starting to look like themselves a little bit. But, buddy, in the state of Alabama, we got a massive one tonight in Coleman Coliseum. Yeah. Auburn, who's, hotter than a fat kid in the first sleeping bag right now, going to take on an Alabama team that can light it up on offense. And they're trying to have a bounce-back game from the humiliation that happened up in Knoxville the game before. What do you think about that one?
Man, first of all, so much to unpack right there. But
I know.
Auburn, Alabama, man, I look at it like this is another true test and a real true test for Auburn coming into SEC play. We thought it would have been an Arkansas game, without question. But it doesn't seem to be Arkansas's time right now because they like to, air quotes, get it going late so they can make that Elite Eight.
They better get it. They better get it going quick.
Exactly. I'm wondering how long Bus gonna be able to play that card. But we're gonna see. The difference with Auburn coming in with this depth, 10 guys playing over 15 minutes a game. Yeah. You walk into Alabama, and we know the rival. These games are always good. Who can set the tone and be more physical? I look back on it last year when Auburn went to Alabama and they beat them there. When Alabama beat them there, it came down to the physicality. It was a lot of calls that didn't go their way. They didn't have the depth inside that they needed as far as the maturity. But now it's a little bit different, man. You got Janai Broome and you got Jalen Williams out there starting. Then you got the big fella. I always get his darn name, man.
Dylan Cardwell?
Big Dylan Cardwell.
Yeah, they just need to give that man a megaphone, too, like during the games. The man's getting 10 and 6 and getting everybody hyped. He probably sold a couple hot dogs at halftime, too.
Hey, guarantee. Hey, I can attest to that. I love it. but this is the thing, too. You're out of Neville Arena now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that is a different atmosphere. You go into Bama where they ought to be there early with their hard hats on, and you got guys looking to back after what just happened in Tennessee. I believe Nate Oates has his team's attention now. It's one of those when you come back out of school, you done got in trouble. You weren't supposed to have your phone out all day. Now you walk back in and your dad don't even say nothing. Your mom don't even say nothing.
Oh, that's the worst.
They just look at you like, well, put that phone right there on the counter. You don't need it. You know what I mean? We ain't even got to say that. You go upstairs, you thinking about it. That's where Alabama should be right now. Mark Sears, he's the leader. You need Griffin to come along with it. But the missing piece, though, for me, man, Grant Nelson, you got to bring it.
Dude, where's this man been? He's been on the back of a milk carton, Ron. You can't, but John Walsh couldn't find this guy.
They got a hell of a witness protection program down there. At some point, he got to get out of it. He got to climb out the window and go do what he's supposed to do, man. Off season, that's all we were hearing about. It was him and Dalton Connect. And honestly, it was supposed to be him. That was supposed to be the test run guy for the SEC Player of the Year. Now Dalton has come. Grant Nelson, it's your time, man. You're supposed to be the mismatch, the 6'10 guy, play inside, outside, get the rebound and go. It's perfect for a system, penetrating kick. It's time now. This will be a great opportunity for Alabama to bounce back. But if Auburn go down here and play the way they're supposed to, with KD Johnson being a wild card off the bench, Baker Mazar, like you got all these guys, man, that are fitting in with the freshman Aiden Holloway leading them. Man, Auburn could be on the tear.
Yeah.
If they go down there and handle Alabama, I think they slap everybody in the face and say, yeah, we are who we're supposed to be for real.
And playing in the SEC, then guess what? Your reward for playing Alabama and beating them on the road You get to go to Mississippi State Saturday and get to deal with that nonsense. It's just the SEC. It's the golden era of the SEC in basketball.
Yes.
But I'm with you, man. Download the post play for Alabama is going to dictate, how far they go. But I will say, I thought Alabama's season changed last year when they got bullied by Tennessee. That physical aspect kind of came back to them a little bit and kind of became who they were.
That's exactly what it is. And you got to take that, and you got to understand, man, during the SEC, all games are going to be tough.
For sure.
Of even honestly, Vanderbilt in the bottom of the pits. But one thing we never question is their effort and their energy in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you play around with them, they'll keep the game close, and you never know what can happen with the guys like Mannion and Lawrence. But, man, you look at it, if Auburn is if Auburn is able to go down here and do this and then turn around and you play Mississippi State, man, like this is serious right here.
It is.
I said coming into this week it was going to be 3 teams in the top 10, and you have it. You take Tennessee out of the picture, what they did to Alabama, they suffocate anybody regardless. So don't think Auburn can't watch that film and say, okay, we're going to go and do this same thing. Y'all play 2 different styles. That's the Tennessee way of playing. You got to go play your own way. I expect it to be a high-scoring game, Auburn and Alabama.
I agree.
All right, let's get the chat quickly. Ron Heartbroken Hog wants to know, what do you make of the situation at Arkansas after so much preseason hype?
Man, had to take a sip. He had to take a sip before answering this one. I feel you, brother.
No, it's real.
Listen, I'm all for the peace. I'm with all that. Listen, I want to know the Richardson to come get me out of high school, so I got love in my heart for Arkansas. This is the first time they don't have a true point guard, and it's coming back to bite them. It's coming back to bite them, man. They went in the transfer portal, and you got a guy in LSU who you thought was going to be a true point guard, but coming from the Louisville situation, he probably was more so, I like their freelance style. Oh, I can go out there and get mine. Now you got 4 guys out there at all times that want to play the same way. And then your center even wants to step out and stay in the corner and shoot threes in Brazil. So it's like, whoa, wait a minute. What are we going to do? You had a guard last year. What's my man's name? With the afro.
I know who you're talking about. The freshman, Anthony Black, right?
Yeah.
Anthony Black. You had Anthony Black last year who did not mind as far as getting Ricky Council.
Physical.
And Nick Smith Jr., all these guys involved, Devo Back. He sacrificed points because he was a pass-first guy, and he was a reflection of what Muss wanted to do. Now you got guys in. Tremont Mack is a hell of a talent. Devo Davis, talent. Like, Ellis is you got so many guys that can go out there and score. Who's going to sacrifice and say, all right, let's get this ball swung side to side. Let's get a little movement. Let's not go one-on-one. Let's make the defense not load up and score. Let's make them shift and see if we can get a swing pass and get an easier shot or a drive. You don't have that anymore. So the lack of the point guard for Arkansas is what scares me. If they want to get that in order, they do have a guy, Devo Davis, that can do it. Devo can go run the point. Then you got to get guys to knuckle up and guard down there and not say we're going to give up a bucket and come back and get it with offense. Mm-hmm. It's simple.
No, I agree. I'm used to watching Arkansas not shoot the ball very well, but they typically out physical and out hustle people, and it just hasn't looked like a Musselman team. But Ron,
especially Bud Walton.
Oh, for sure. You get run by 30
that was
in
bad.
and then South Carolina goes down and leads wire to wire from the start to the finish on you. I mean, hell, you were lucky to beat A&M.
Having nightmares thinking about that.
Definitely, man. Well, Ron, please tell everybody where they can find you, man. The Boom Boom Room, everything. It's a pleasure having you on. We got to get you back, man. This was a lot of fun.
Man, no doubt, man. Anytime, man. 3 to 6, Monday through Friday with 3HL. I got my co-host, Brent Daugherty and Dawn Davenport, Auburn War Damn Eagle alum. We got her with us. We got her with us every day. Then also SEC Network, man, every Wednesday and Saturday in studio. And then the Boom Boom Room. Y'all go check it out, man. Y'all subscribe to the channel. Some good content on there. It's all the way. It's about the life journey, really, to what got him to sports. There's some good interviews. John Henderson, Shamika Holtzclaw, more to come. But man, y'all tune in, man, and lock the door.
Definitely. Well, Ron, thanks so much, man. Shoot, I'll check you on SEC Network here probably tonight. So I appreciate you, brother.
Man, appreciate you guys, man. Y'all have a good one, baby.
Of course.
Ron, appreciate it, brother.
David Cone doesn't blow it for you guys. We'll see. One of the best in the business, Ron Slay. Pleasure having him on. All right, let's get to calls.
All right, let's get to Cody in Illinois. Cody, how you doing?
All right, who's ready to play? What year is it?
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
All right, I'm going to read you guys a series of clues about a specific year, and you guys are going to tell me what year it is. And once again, I will ask you guys not to use any electronic devices.
All right.
All right, collegiate champion. The Yukon Huskies won the NCAA tournament in men's basketball. Professional champion. The Dallas Stars won the Stanley Cup. Sensational rookie. Selected fourth in the NFL draft by the Indianapolis Colts. Running back Edgerrin James would go on to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year award.
Okay.
Individual accomplishment. By winning the French Open, Andre Agassi became the 5th male tennis player to win all 4 Grand Slams singles in a career. Significant event. In a battle of unbeatens, Felix Trinidad, with a record of 35-0, defeated Oscar De La Hoya with a record of 31-0 for a major decision in the Don King-backed fight, the fight of the millennium, and unified the WBC and IBF welterweight titles. What year is it, fellas?
Well, first off, you said Don King, and I just think about Dave Chappelle when he's like, it's the most splendiferous, scrumptious matchup. Edgerrin James.
UConn.
When did Edgerrin James leave Miami? That's what's going to tell you the answer.
There's 2 years that come to mind. One's 2004 and one's 2001.
See, 2001, I think, is the answer because 2004, I would remember that because Auburn went undefeated. I would have remembered Edgerrin James. It feels like 2001. That's the first thing. Hey, did September 11th happen? Same year? Can't tell.
What was the first clue?
The Yukon Huskies. So they won.
Khalid El Amin was the point guard, I'm pretty sure.
What about 99?
That's what I think.
That may be it. That may be it.
It's not 2001.
It's in that 3-year span.
2001's too late.
Second guessing myself. All right, so the 2000, because I think they won it in 2004.
Well, if he was...
But that starts to get near the Roger Federer era and Andre Agassi.
So Andre Agassi was still rocking and rolling in 1999. It was him and Pete Sampras.
In 99.
In 99,
yes. I'm talking about 2004. That's why...
It's not 2004, I don't think.
No, it's not 2001 either. That's too late.
I like 99.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I like 99.
So hold on.
I think you're
Do
right.
we know when Edgerrin James left Miami?
98, right? Was he on the 98?
It's got to be because he said draft.
Yeah,
it's 99.
It's 1999.
1999.
All right, so 1999 is your final answer?
Yes.
It's a correct answer.
All right. It is 1999.
Wow.
We are the smartest men alive.
Come on.
I love it. All right, that's a good one.
Cody, good one.
Because UConn reeled off like 3 around that period of time.
Oh, that was Jim Calhoun.
I'm pretty sure that's when, because the hockey team was the Stars, right?
Yeah, that one didn't help me because I don't.
No, they balled out. Because I don't know. I saw this on TikTok.
Didn't they have like a Hall of Fame? Like
they had like 4 years, 5 years in a row in like the 95 through like 2000. They were just balling out.
Well, as a Flyers fan, I expect you to know that.
Yeah, you're damn right.
Cody, great call, buddy.
Great call, Cody.
Man. Thank you. All right, let's go to Trey in Atlanta. Trey, how you doing?
What's going on?
What's up, man?
Hey, and it's Trace.
Trace.
Oh, I just read what they put in
Damn it, Cone!
I read what they put. They called you Trey.
You put a question mark in the teleprompter.
Hey, Jay. I've been watching y'all since probably last summer. I just found out the other day that my brother-in-law is first cousin or second cousins with your wife.
No way.
No way.
Really?
Y'all related.
Yeah.
Well, hey, what's up, fam?
What's up, man?
What's going on?
What's up? Let's do it.
Man, if I knew that sooner, I would have come to the wedding with him and met y'all.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Shoot. Yeah, well, you know, I don't plan to do it again, but if we ever renew our vows or anything, man, I'll bring you over.
For sure. But hey, I've been hearing all these rumors about the NCAA coming out with the new college football game.
Yeah.
And I've heard people say what the cover should be and this and that. I think the cover should be a banner that just says we're back.
I'm down with that.
The intro video is what should go hard.
No, look, I'm with it. In my personal opinion, at this point, and we've heard July, right? Our boy Dave Waters, Gators Breakdown, kind of broke that on social here in July 12th. Maybe when it comes out. Here's the camp I'm in, Trace. I don't care if there even is a cover. I just want the damn game back. That's all. I don't ask for a lot, right? I ask for warm food, cold drink, and my NCAA football video game. Like, we got a new GTA coming out. That's the only other one I'll play. But if I could choose, you know what should be on the cover, Trace, in my opinion? That Pop-Tart
Who's
from
that?
the Pop-Tart Bowl.
No.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
Yes.
How
Not
about
J.J.
Crain and
McCarthy,
company?
David.
Cover that LSU team, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase doing the through the legs dunk, the handshake before should be on the cover, 100%. 2, all right, July and August might be the two most important months of my life. All right, and I've said this, I've talked to you about this with y'all. July 12th is when NCAA comes back.
Allegedly.
The god of all games comes back. 2, college football in August. All right, 3, my birthday's in August. And 4, Creed, 3 Doors Down, and Chris Daughtry's coming to Nashville.
Wow.
Wait, hold on. Creed,
3 Doors Down, and Chris Daughtry are coming to Nashville.
Why isn't Nickelback coming?
Where is
August
Nickelback?
13th.
How you
On
remind
August
me.
13th.
Wow.
First of
Man.
all, that's going to be an awesome summer. Second of all, what about a Crain and company cover on NCAA?
I'm down. We should be we should be like the
When's
The commentators.
Cone's sophomore year coming up? That's what I'm
that's what everybody.
Cody was just on the line.
Y'all could probably make a cover for y'all's merch that people could get when the game comes out to go on like a cover, like those book covers that come on hardbacks. Y'all could probably make those to go
Trace.
No, let's do it.
Trace May just had the greatest idea on Crain.
You are second cousin.
Yeah, we're related
Yeah,
for sure.
y'all
You're spitting gold like that. We're definitely related, Trace. But no, man, great call. That's a great thought.
Trace, who's your team?
Who's my team?
Because they said you were calling from. Are you calling from Alabama?
Oh, Roll Tide, baby.
Oh, Roll
Okay.
Tide.
All right, Trace, good here.
All right, Trace, thanks for calling. No, I'm just kidding. Trace, we appreciate it, brother. Call back, my friend. Call
dude,
back,
great
fam.
call. Yeah.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir, I
it, Trace.
will. Hey, I'll see y'all.
All right,
bud.
buddy. See ya.
All right, I'm having some technical difficulties with the line here. Go to the booster call.
All right, let's go to the Booster Club.
Come on down. All right, let's go to 9 Mil Norm with the $5 donation. It says PETA steals from people's yards and euthanizes them. They better not be worried about the University of Georgia.
Another thing I don't understand is I get that PETA stands for it stands for protecting the I don't even know what it stands for. I think it means, people eating terrible apples or whatever. But why would you name your organization after a food that you put meat in? Like a PETA?
Oh, like a PETA?
Yeah, it's like, oh man, hey, what's up? We're this taco.
Because they hate animals. That's why.
They
Like
do
I said.
hate animals. David, you may be right.
Let's go to BNA Wildcat, #Ask Crain and Company. Will Kentucky basketball figure it out by tournament time?
I mean, they're as talented as anybody, so if anybody can figure it out. And look, at Cal, I give Cal a lot of grief on here, but I mean, he's still a good basketball coach. It's just I watch him, and they don't look overtly. Look, Dillingham's a bucket. Shepard's a witch. They got that monster, Big Z now. You've got a bunch of talent. It's just I watch them on defense, and I don't even think it's an effort thing. They just don't look very well coached defensively. And listen, sometimes when you have offenses that play in transition the way Kentucky does, you will slack a little bit on defense in some areas just because of the style of play. But watching what South Carolina did last night, and I know that they were really hot in the second half, shooting the ball, really 1 through 5. But the Kentucky, I'm used to being able to see Kentucky at some point buckle down and just out physical people because they're bigger. Right? And they're some of the best athletes and best players in the country. So it's interesting to see.
All right, let's go to Justin Decker. We talking upper or lower here, buddy. He says, Auburn by 50 tonight. Bama might not score 55. This defense for Auburn is for real. They've kept 4 teams under 60 since league play started. Big one tonight. You really haven't broken down the keys to this game. Go ahead and give what needs to happen.
Well,
for both
to me,
sides.
it's the key of every college basketball game because I don't know how's it going to be officiated because they officiate every game different. Seems like every time Auburn goes into Coleman, I mean, they rack up a ton of fouls. And look, I mean, Alabama, every team's hard to beat at home in the SEC, but I mean, Alabama's very talented. I mean, especially on the offensive end. I know they're not the biggest and the most physical they've been. There's no Herb Jones out there, but I mean, they've got Estrada can light it up. They got guys that are problems. I mean, guys that are coming on too. Hartzell has really come on and been a big scorer for them. And we know the ancillary pieces that they have. But when I look at Auburn, when you play a team like Alabama that wants to run and wants to shoot the threes and put the ball up close to the rim, I think you do overwhelm them with depth. But Auburn's interior game is going to be the difference if they win this game. It's going to be Janai Broome. It's going to be Dylan Cardwell. It's going to be Jalen Williams. That's a mismatch. Chaney Johnson. Being able to try and get the ball inside to be able to dictate the tempo and the tone of the game. Where I think Auburn has a big advantage is that Auburn can play many styles, and when they can play a slowdown game that's defensive, that is working the ball inside, kind of a slower game, get to the free throw line, or they can run up and down with Trey Donaldson and Aiden Holloway and Denver Jones and these guys and score in high-scoring games. But I think the way the game is officiated, not saying that one team, they're going to call better fouls for one team or the other, but how physical are they letting them play? Because the more physical they let them play, the more that benefits Auburn.
So should I stick with the over that I'm taking in that game?
I like the over. Bama shoots 45% at home. Like, they're going to make threes. You have to weather the storm. But I will say the last 2 times Auburn's been there, I think they've been up by 17 and by 15. They lost both of them. So we'll see.
I was going to chase hashtag Ask Crain and Company. What mid-major team do you think can make a deep run in the tourney?
I mean,
that's a question.
I think there's multiple. There's always some that kind of, come up late who are playing really well. We saw what FAU did last year. Just off the top of my head, looking around, I mean, I think App State's kind of a sneaky team in the Sun Belt. They're one of Auburn's 2 losses as well. I watched them play. I feel like a team out of the Sun Belt this year. I remember, Ron Hunter in Georgia State and his son hitting that shot, and that was a cool story. You look at a team like Tulane, right, that can really fill it up. It's got some guys that can go get a buck, and I know their record's not just phenomenal, but if they're a team that gets in, that they could do some damage. So those are 2 to keep.
What about Dayton?
Dayton's nice. I like Dayton's physicality. I know they don't play the toughest schedule, but they've played well enough to be ranked right now, and they played LaSalle last night, were able to handle them. I think Dayton's physical. The thing about FAU and San Diego State, one of the main reasons they made the Final Four is because they were physical enough to be able to handle the onslaught that they were getting. I think both those teams are physical enough to be able to do it. That's the difference.
All right, let's go to Chris. Hashtag Ask Crain and Co. Will there be a bracket come tourney time?
Oh, yeah.
Last year was a sports movies. I want to see a best batting stances of all time.
Oh, that's a good one.
No, we're not going to do that. Because, Griffey's got the best.
King Griffey will win.
Griffey's got the best stance. Griffey's got the best swing.
Griffey's stance was.
It's the smoothest baseball swing I have ever seen in my life.
Well, what if we just take him out? Like, he's already at the top, and then we do a bracket with all the rest of the batting
like
stance.
a second place?
Yeah.
Who would finish second?
God, I don't know. Vladimir Guerrero's stance was pretty dope, too. He's also hitting balls, off the dirt out of the
That'd be a fun one to do.
That would be a fun one.
Okay, let's go to Shane Bentley with the $10 donation. Appreciate it, Shane. He says, with the talks with Belichick falling through for the Falcons job, who y'all think grabs the HC job for the Dirty Birds?
Has it officially fallen through?
I can get Shefty on the line.
I don't think I don't think Harbaugh. If Harbaugh goes, I think it's going to the Chargers. When I look at the Falcons, God, are you waiting for somebody to get done? Is it, hey, Ben Johnson, come on over. We'll get you a quarterback out of the draft. You got Bijan Robinson. You got Kyle Pitts. I think Ben Johnson's a guy.
Ooh, okay. What about, okay. All right, let's talk about it. So we got a couple people putting in batting stances here. Tony Gwynn.
Nice. Gary Sheffield.
A guy that's got brought up on the show before, Jeff Bagwell.
Oh, Jeffy B?
Jeff had the weirdest stance, dude. You want to know something terrifying? A guy getting in the box and doing that.
Yeah.
Is that strike zone?
Well, you know what's even more terrifying? When Craig Biggio's batting before him, who also had an absolute dope stance.
Remember Andres Galarraga's stance?
The big cat?
It's open. Yeah, that's it right there.
Right. There was somebody else. Was it Bautista? Not Jose Bautista.
Bautista has
It was a Miguel Bautista. Somebody used to stand just like this. And then it was motorcycle, but you'd always get back.
You're always there.
You're always going to get
You'll watch,
Barry
watch
Bonds,
me. It doesn't matter the stance of in the box. All great hitters get back to one place.
Yeah.
They all get back to one place, which is hands loaded, cocked, hands inside, and you can see the rubber band about to explode.
It doesn't matter how you get there. It only matters that you get there and when you get there. That's what it comes down to. All right, going to get back to the Booster Club. Let's get to bets. Went 1-1 yesterday. Because I told you guys, Kentucky #1 offense in the country. I take them to hit the over. They had their worst offensive game. But Xavier and Creighton, it was basically they're just playing gotcha. Every time you shoot it, you score. So tonight, all right, maybe a little bit of hedging emotions here. We all know how it goes. Bama and Georgia money line. Together, that's plus 149. Then Seton Hall. If you're playing Providence at home, you guys I was 4-0 betting Seton Hall before, We'll talk about what happened last game. But give me Seton Hall -3.5 at home against Providence at -115.
All right, Medvedev won a 5-setter in the Australian Open yesterday, but I didn't hit my bet because he decided to lose the second set 6-2. And, of course, Zverev and Alcaraz are going right now. Zverev's up, so I think I might hit that one. But I'm going to go college basketball today. I'm going to go ahead and take Auburn with the points in Coleman Coliseum, +3.5, -110. Lock it in, Blaine. Lock it in. And then I'll go ahead and stick with the over. I don't feel great about it, but I'm going to take the over at 160.5, and that's -130.
All right, this is what I'm taking. 1-1 yesterday. Kentucky lost. I'm fine with it. But, hey, Texas +4.5. Easy money.
They beat the hell out of
Give me the Gators at home today versus Mississippi State. And give me Washington at home as well. Home dogs +3.5 versus Colorado. That's going off at -120.
All right, Ace, 2-0 last night. Well done, sir.
Ace, man.
Marquette, -17.5. That's going off at -110 tonight. And then FAU, -12.5 at -110. We'll see how he does. All right, let's get back to it.
Let's knock out these donations. Chase Mills with the $2 donation. He says, Julio Lugo for the best stance of all time.
I like that.
I know, you know that we both know. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to Ryan Gade with the $5 donation. Ryan, appreciate it, brother. He says, shout out to the West Virginia women's basketball team who in back-to-back games shut out Houston and Cincy from scoring for the entire first quarter.
What?
In the entire quarter?
Wait.
I'll read it again. Shout out to the West Virginia women's basketball team who in back-to-back games shut out Houston and Cincinnati from scoring a point for the entire first
quarter's 10 minutes, right?
That's a long time.
Y'all can't score. You can't make a free throw?
Wow.
You know how bad. Look, and I'm not trying.
Nah, yeah, you're trying.
But you know how bad you have to be not to score a point in a whole quarter of
I'm going to be honest. There's only like 4 women's basketball teams I can watch, like that I can just watch and actually kind of enjoy it.
Like, I don't know if I'm
allowed
to get mad anymore because at this point we're just trying to keep dudes out of their sport.
Yeah. It's this one. It's not even about the style of play. It's the people that are playing.
How many buckets is Blair getting in the first quarter?
Dog, I mean, I'm sitting at 20. I'm 20 points.
You're dropping a 20 piece.
20?
Who's stopping me? Who's really?
That West Virginia defense.
No, they're not. I'm sure their defense is not great.
The Country Road's taking your ass home, buddy.
I'm sure their defense is not great. Let's go to I'm not doing this, bro, BS, which is Steve. Steve changed his handle to I'm not doing the bro BS. Look, bro. All right, relax. He says, okay, guys, after get off my lawn, $5 donation, appreciate it. We need Jake to miss the card and someone to say caboose to get a bingo on the bingo card. Let's go.
You just said it. You just said it. We'll see. If
there it is, buddy.
I'm going to make it really difficult.
Let's go to another one from Chase Mills, $5 donation. Billy Wagner and Andrew Jones were absolutely robbed from the Hall of Fame.
Billy Wagner was throwing gasoline, like 101 from the left side, like here. Like, if you remember, wasn't Billy Wagner the guy that was right-handed and, broke his right arm?
Did he?
And started throwing left-hand and throwing, 100 miles an hour?
Wow, I don't remember that.
Bro, I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Let's go to Jan B with a $10 donation. He says, Blaine, Chiefs versus Ravens bet. Let's do it. Details on the bet will be chosen later if you accept.
Are you willing? You take the blue pill. It all goes away. You take the red
Is
pill.
Andy Pettit going to make the Hall of Fame? Or was he wrapped up in the?
Right?
Was he wrapped up in the?
Who didn't do steroids?
Andy Pettit looked like the least guy that did steroids. That's like when they're like, hey, DeAndre Hopkins got caught using steroids. I'm like, for muscles or to get bigger?
No one knows who did and who didn't use steroids. So the fact that they get to choose.
Well, they know who did.
They get to choose.
Pretty obvious who did.
Who goes in the Hall of Fame?
Mark McGuire's head got bigger. So did Barry Bonds. We know who did. Just look at him.
I don't know. I mean, Andrew Jones put on 16 pounds in one season.
Yeah, that's because he was eating a bunch of cheeseburgers. Look at Andrew Jones. That wasn't exactly
Barry
good
Bonds
weight.
could have been eating a bunch of cheeseburgers with steroids in them, and he didn't know about it.
There's a big difference between looking like what Barry Bonds looked like and looking like what White Goodman did at the end of Dodgeball.
You ready for the hurricane?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the poll. Would Brian Kelly go to Michigan?
No.
No.
Yes
75%.
or no?
76%.
Wow. No. 77.
Yes! Yes!
Yes.
That's how we do, chat.
23.
God, you Prices Righted me after I did Prices Right you yesterday. But, all right, appreciate it, guys. Good job in the chat. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Sorry for the technical difficulties on the calls. We'll get that fixed. We did go a little bit over with Ron Slay, but
Ronnie's a man.
it just be like that sometimes. So we appreciate you guys. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Got a great show for you. I'm going to be recapping, getting you ready for all these NFL games as well. Again, go grab some merch. Go grab that hoodie. Go grab that candle. And like the chances
You do it back to back.
of Kentucky being good on defense
Go
in college
left-handed.
basketball.
Go left-handed
Let me
catch.
go left-handed.
Catch
This is a
left-handed.
drop.
No bingo. No bingo for you.
Liberty, Bibberty, gone.